All right, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today on the special HumNow Zoom session. My name is Chris Pearson, founder of HumNow, and beyond building the facility itself, my passion's really been all about creating a place for athletes where they can develop, build confidence, and grow as individuals, both on and off the field. And not only that, but at HumNow, we're constantly looking for opportunities to connect our athletes with people who truly make an impact. So our guest today is a special guest. He isn't just a coach or instructor, but he's a player who's currently doing what so many of our athletes and members out at Hum Now aspire to do. So this weekend we have a special opportunity to have Elijah Hainline joining us. He'll be running a camp and offering some one-on-one sessions. So this Zoom today is really just all about getting to know Elijah, hearing your journey, and understanding what this opportunity will do for you and why you want to make sure that you don't miss out on this. So I'm super excited to have and introduce everyone to Elijah Hainline. Elijah grew up here in Spokane, played high school ball at Mead, went to Washington State, then to Oregon State, drafted by the Dodgers in the seventh round, and just wrapped up his first year of rookie ball. So playing professional ball. And today's Zoom is really all about getting to know Elijah, hearing his journey, and what makes this week such a special opportunity. So with that being said, Elijah, thank you first and foremost for taking the time to jump on with me today. And the next thing is thank you for taking the time to give back to the community that you grew up in and helping us work together to better the game of baseball and do good things for the community and kids in our area. So special opportunity for you to take a few minutes out of your busy schedule to join us. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for having me on here, and would definitely love to come out and help as many kids as possible. Just to relish in the opportunity to learn from someone who's been in their position before and who's done it before. So something that you can come out and just learn about. Just even one little thing that might help you get better and help you get to the next level could be a game changer for you.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Why don't we? I think it's important for people to get to know your background, and I think it's important for kids going through the journey themselves to, really get to know where it all started for you. So, obviously, you grew up in Spokane. You're a Mead kid, but talk about when it first started for you. I mean, do you have little league, travel ball? When did you realize that you just loved this sport?
I mean, I grew up playing the sport ever since I could ever remember. I mean, that was kind of always my sport. I started with basketball as a young kid just because that was the first sport that I liked, but I was always better at baseball, so I always knew that was the sport that I wanted to continue to play. And being as short as I am, wasn't necessarily having the best opportunity to go out and play Division I baseball or anything or basketball like that or anything like that. So kind of stuck with baseball and kind of just enjoyed it throughout my
Yeah.
career, basically.
I'm glad you brought up the height piece because I was going to probably bring that up if you didn't. So share with people how tall you are size wise.
Just I'm not that short, but I'm 5'10", so just a classic little 5'10", 185, 190.
Yeah, that's perfect. I think it's good for people to know that the size really doesn't matter when it comes to baseball. I mean, obviously you got to have strength, speed, and those type of things, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of other factors that come into play. So, how about Mead? Share about your experience at Mead, and was there any coaches or kind of defining moments for you when playing high school ball? I assume you played travel ball as well too, but talk about that experience being a Mead Panther and any defining moments for you and when you realize that hey, I maybe have something pretty special here.
Yeah, I was blessed with the opportunity to play all 4 years on the varsity level. Um, Coach Hare, who was there, he was starting in his first couple years, and there was kind of questions whether or not I would be ready as a freshman. Being as small as I was, I didn't really have hit a growth spurt. I had the skill to play at that level, but wasn't really 100% certain on if the size would be a problem or not. But as the year went on, I started right away, kind of continued to play all 4 years, and then junior year obviously got taken because of COVID. But senior year was when I really made a breakout season and kind of understood putting the size started to come and kind of put all the skill that I'd learned throughout my career into play when the size actually came into play, and then it all kind of just came together. But I mean, high school was a great experience, a lot of fun. I mean, Mead is a great school. We went to state once, didn't do too well, and then kind of just had an enjoyable time. I mean, met a lot of great people there and had a lot of fun.
Perfect. Question: did you always play up the middle? Were you always a middle infielder, even in high school, even freshman year, playing up the middle?
Yeah, I was always a shortstop growing up. I mean, I played a little bit of second here and there, but it was pretty much always shortstop. Yeah.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Why don't you talk through the recruiting process? That this is something that's especially in today's age, and it seems with the transfer portal and everything going on, it's different than it used to be. Very, very, very much different. I'm personally going through it with our son right now, who's going through the recruiting process, and so I think it's really valuable for people to hear the experiences, even though it was a few years ago, and it is different today than it was now. But talk through that recruiting process and how that went for you.
Mine was a bit abnormal, actually. So I had committed pretty early on in high school. Right
Mhm.
after my freshman year of high school, I had committed to Washington State, but it was under a different head coach. So by the time I actually got around to junior, senior year, that coach had gotten fired.
Oh, wow.
So a new coach came in, and I was getting better at the time. So there was also like a little bit of a scare there of whether or not this new coach would want me or not. So I went down to a couple camps down at WSU, uh, and played in front of him, and he ended up loving me and being like, "Okay, I totally understand why you're wanting to, why wanted you here before." So he ended up allowing me to keep that scholarship and then giving me more money on
Yeah.
top of it just to kind of prove that he also wanted me as well. So it was a little bit of his money as well as the old coach's money too. So it was just a great experience with WSU, especially heading into that, being a little bit like scared on what's going to happen, not really sure. I mean, college is a little bit of like a unknowing thing anyway, so it was a good experience of feeling a little bit more wanted.
Yeah, that's awesome. So when you say a little bit more money, was that at that point in time NIL money? Was it more scholarship dollars?
It was all
So
just scholarship money. Yeah, it was just there wasn't
okay,
really NIL really wasn't a thing yet.
yeah, you were just before the cusp on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting in today's. I'm sure you're talking to people, and I've heard people going through the recruiting process now. I think it just goes to show not only the talent that people were seeing in you, but to be able to offer you that early in the game. And with the transfer portal today, kids aren't getting offered early. It's very, very rare. It's very few are getting offered early. So that's awesome that happened for you at that time. So let's kind of move on then to your college experience. So being an Eastern Washington guy myself and being a Coug fan, I love that you were at WSU. So at your sophomore year, if I have this correct, I think you hit over 330 as a sophomore. And so what was the jump between your freshman year and sophomore year of college ball that you think really fueled that average for you and really a breakout season altogether for you as a sophomore in college?
I think it was just more understanding myself as a player. I think there's a lot of things freshman year that I mean, as a freshman, you're learning, you're trying to understand the game, you're trying to play it at a higher level. I mean, you go from high school in Spokane, Washington, to Division 1 baseball in the Pac-12. It's a very big difference of like the level of game that you're playing. Obviously, you're there for a reason. You got to understand that. So,
Yeah.
like after a freshman year, I got to play my whole freshman year. Got to start at third base, a position I hadn't played really. Um, so it was just more of a learning curve freshman year, and then sophomore year was kind of when I got into that spot of like learning myself. Went out to summer ball right after my freshman year, kind of like just started grinding on the game, trying to understand different ways that I can use my abilities to help me succeed in the game. Like there's always been the skill and all that, but it was like trying to understand how to be me in the baseball and how I can impact the game in my own way instead of just trying to go out there and just play and just see what happens. It's like understanding how you can impact the game and help the team win. And then also the success will just come with that if you're just trying to focus on the winning.
Yeah, that's awesome. That I didn't know that, and I think that's a cool perspective. And that I'd asked you earlier, you always played up the middle, and now all of a sudden you go to D1, and for the very first time you're playing a position you've never been in. And what impacts do you think that had on you in terms of did that carry over to the plate some? Do you think that impacted that at all, or were you able to really separate out, from what was happening at the plate your freshman year and the defensive change that you were getting used to for the first time?
I grew up like training all three positions, shortstop, second, and third. Like just so I know, because I knew growing up that you need to train all because you never know what's going to happen, especially going into college. Like I had some good mentors, especially Kenny Elmas, who runs Premier Mitts, who's really that was a big focus was like trying to work on all three different positions because you never know where you're going to be. So I had comfortability with it, but it was
Mhm.
also like uncomfortable at the time because it was like I'm playing Pac-12 Division One baseball at a position that I really haven't grown up playing much. So it was just kind of it was definitely more of a focus on the defense than the offense and just trying to help the team win, making the plays on defense. And then just whatever happens on offense kind of happens. So that was kind of where the shift happened was okay, I'm going back to a position sophomore year at second base where I'm comfortable. I know how to play this. It's a little less focus on the defense just because for me, I always thought second base was easier than any other position on the field. So it was a little bit more of an easy focus on the offensive side. So I can really kind of put more emphasis on that and really focus on that and trying to help myself be successful in that aspect. And then the defense will take care of itself. So that was kind of the big jump, I would say, in the mental side of that freshman to sophomore year.
Okay, makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. So you had the breakout year sophomore year, and obviously caught the attention, nationally of other coaches. But Oregon State, so in terms of West Coast, especially in the Northwest, obviously anyone that knows baseball knows that Oregon State's the place to go. Mitch Cannon's done an unbelievable job of keeping that program going there, and just an all-around great guy in general. So share with us about that process, because again, in today's game, transfer portals become a huge thing, and people are going from school to school. So what went into that decision making? Why Oregon State? And how did you feel about that process once you actually went through it?
Yeah, there was never any intention to like transfer after a good year or anything like that. It's kind of the coaches ended up leaving. He ended up getting a new job at Wichita State. So it kind of just opened the door for me to look at opportunities.
Mhm.
And I had a lot of opportunities, but I felt like there was comfortability with being in the Pac-12 and kind of being at a school where it was in the Northwest, kind of understand that kind of baseball and the way that the game's played. So it was just comfortability in that, and then also the coaches and the culture that's already at Oregon State. I mean, you grew up hearing about Oregon State, especially in the Northwest, of like, wow, this is a powerhouse of a school. They've won multiple national championships. Like this is a school to be at in order to get the opportunity to go play at the next level. And I thought development wise that was the best opportunity at the time to like go out and learn and just grow and be a better player. And there was so much that I could take from that. I mean, the coaches were amazing there. The team was amazing there. We made a good run, made it to the super regionals, ended up losing to Kentucky, but it was the first time I had gotten to play playoff baseball. So it was something that was extremely exciting at the time too.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's super awesome. We've had an opportunity to go play a couple tournaments at Oregon State, and we've been at, I would say, most all of the colleges in the Northwest. And when you go to their camps, tournaments, and play games, you can see why they're a top tier program. I mean, they everything they do is class act. It's at the top, good people, and so that's awesome. You got to have that experience with them. I think it's a great opportunity that you had there. So Oregon State junior year, got to make a playoff run, and then it's now time to be eligible for the draft. Well, you always were eligible, but now you're starting to gain some interest for the draft. So heading into 2024 draft, what was your mindset like? On draft day, going into the draft, did you have a pretty good idea you would be taken somewhere? Do you have any idea it would be the Dodgers? Just talk to us a little bit about that process.
Yeah, I went down to the draft combine and met with a bunch of teams, did all that kind of stuff. There's only a certain amount of people that get to go down to the draft combine, and I was blessed with the opportunity to do that. So met with a lot of teams, but there wasn't really any understanding as much as I know of where I was going to be taken. There was things that you could hear from like regional scouts and like from the certain scouts and certain teams that are like, okay, we might have you here. That's what my agent was more there for. Was like him kind of dealing with that side of stuff. But it was I had really never talked to the Dodgers, haven't really heard anything from the Dodgers, so that was kind of a just out of the blue kind of thing that happened. And it was like, oh wow, this is kind of nuts. Like I just got taken to the best development organization in baseball, is what a lot of people would say. So it's kind of a crazy experience, and that whole process was just not stressful, but it was fun when you get your name called. But leading up to it is a lot of stress for sure.
So share about that. Where were you when your name got called, and what did you immediately do afterwards? Did you cry? Did you crack a beer? Did you what did you do?
I was just back at home out in Spokane, just kind of hanging out with my family, and the name got called, and kind of it was just more of a sigh of relief of like, wow, finally I get to go play professional baseball. Kind of the goal
Yeah,
that every kid wants to do is get the opportunity to go play professional baseball, especially for the Dodgers. I mean, that's another thing that a lot of people would love to do, and I got the opportunity to do that, and it's pretty amazing.
yeah, that's super awesome. So here you are. You played 3 years of college ball. Now in the Dodgers organization, they have you back at shortstop, right? So you're playing your position. What was the biggest difference that you would say between college ball and pro ball?
For me, I would say it was just in in college ball, it was a lot more of like team aspects of like baseball. Of like you're laying a bunt down to move a runner over. You're hitting a hit and run. You're gonna move them over. You're doing stuff to help the team win. In professional baseball, it's a little different, where it's more individual aspects of it. Like obviously you're out there to win. Like being in college, like that's always a part of me as a competitor of like trying to win a baseball game. I'm trying to go out and win the game every single day. But it's a little less of like trying to win as a team. It's more of like showcasing yourself in order to get moved up. At least in the minor leagues, in like the big leagues, obviously it's out there to win. You're out there to win at all times. But in the minor leagues, if you talk to anyone, it's a little bit more of an individual aspect. So it's kind of just understanding how you can impact the game to get yourself moved up in a way.
Gotcha. How about facing pitching? Was that a big difference between college and pro ball?
I would say it's a lot like facing a Friday night guy every single night.
Okay.
You're not going to see the midweek guy that throws 87 anymore. You're not going to really see the guys that are throwing 90 to 93 that can't locate or just throw 1 to 2 pitches. It's guys out there every single night that are throwing 95 plus, and if they're not, then they have 4 or 5 pitches that they're going to locate and land every single time. So it's just understanding yourself in that aspect too, of how you can go out there and compete against that too, even, and have success against that, because it's completely different than Pac-12 West
Yeah,
Coast baseball. Like not completely different, but there's a lot of aspects that are a lot different, and like in understanding that. And if you can hit the fastball, you're going to be able to succeed.
perfect. That's awesome. So you went, and I don't know how many people know how it works out, but you started in rookie ball and then were elevated up to high A ball and then had a unique and fun opportunity here at the end of the season too. So let's just talk just real briefly about that of rookie ball and then making that jump to high A and what the differences were when getting to make that jump to high A ball.
Yeah, I played low A ball for in Rancho for right after the draft. I played like 30 games. Didn't play well at all, so don't look up the stats at all. Please don't. But there was during that time there was a lot of like just uh, swing changes I was trying to make, trying to figure out like how I can succeed, and like things that I thought I could do in order to be successful in the long term. So that short little season, like it didn't reflect how well I actually thought I made jumps in. And then I went to drive line and really made big jumps and like trying to understand my swing leading into my first full season as a professional. Was like going to drive line, making complete different swing changes, completely changing the way I thought about hitting in general, and like focusing on a lot more different things than I even thought. Um, Going into low A again, had a really successful like 80 games or whatever it was. Then got moved up to high A, also succeeded there, which was considered a very difficult league, I would say. Um, I felt like I played really well and had a great time there. I mean, enjoyed every single minute of it. And then right as the season finished up, had like a week off, and then got the opportunity to go play in Double A for playoffs for a few games. So that was kind of a crazy little whirlwind of an experience there at that last little week.
Did you feel a significant bump pitching that you were seeing between high A and double A, or was it fairly comparable still?
I didn't experience enough of double A to really like give you a good understanding of how it would be. I think the
Yep.
difference between low A and high is a lot different in
Okay.
terms of low A, it's a lot of guys with crazy stuff. You'll see guys throwing 100 all the time with some of the craziest breaking stuff you'll ever see. But the difference between low A and high is they don't know where it's really going in low A. Like anyone will tell you as a hitter, like there's a lot of pitchers there that just walk people. Like you could stand at the plate and get walked in 4 pitches, or you could get 3 fastballs right down the middle at 100. You really never know. So it's a little
Yeah.
different of like just understanding your approach and making adjustments every single day, especially as you move up levels. Like don't allow the adjustments to take too long to make. You got to make adjustments quick in order to be successful. Otherwise, you're just going to drown in what's happening. So it's like it's learning about yourself and understanding yourself and how you can be successful at each level in order to succeed, and kind of just putting it all together in order to shape yourself. Because the end goal isn't be really good at low A or really good at high A. It's to be a unbelievably amazing major league player and hopefully make the Hall of Fame at the end of your career. Like that's the goal at the end of the day. So in order for you to make adjustments, you have to like stick with the process and understand that the ups and downs are just a part of it, and that how you can shape yourself in order to be better in the long term than right at that very moment.
I think this transitions perfect into what we're talking about next, which is lessons and mindsets, right? And one of the things that I picked up on and I got excited all over again about you coming out is you talked about here you were high school athlete, got recruited super early in the process, got to play in the Pac-12, got to play in the best baseball program in the Pac-12, make a playoff run, get drafted, go, and all of a sudden you're changing your swing and completely making adjustments. And so, baseball's so full of the ups and downs and the highs. And here you've been on this high, and you get drafted, and here I am, and I got this thing right, and then you get there, and all of a sudden you're making wholesale changes. So, how do you mentally continue to work through those as you're going through that process?
Yeah, I mean that first little stint that I had, it was definitely frustrating because it's like you're there for a reason, and you know that you're there. Like they didn't just draft you for no reason. You know you're going to have success. So it's just continue to believe in yourself that you can do that. And then when you start not having success, it's like it's definitely takes a toll on you. So you got to like find ways to make adjustments. And I thought for me, like going to drive line in the off season was the best thing that I could do for myself in order to really make the adjustments to impact the way that my mindset was. I felt like my mindset was at a good spot of like I believed in myself enough to have the body also help me with that too, I guess in a way. Or the skill's always been there, but it's like just learning how to do it at a professional level instead of just like what you've always learned. You're there for a reason, but you got to make adjustments in order to have success. Because I mean, if you look at anyone that's been in pro ball, no guy has the same swing at the start of his career to the end of his career. That's never going to be anyone. So how early on can you make that adjustment to get yourself to the best spot to compete and win?
And obviously it worked for you. I mean, going from low A to high A to having the opportunity there to be a part of a playoff run is super awesome. So kudos to you for making those adjustments. I know that will be an ongoing process. Another thing I think to speak to is and one of the things that we wanted to do when we opened Hum Now was provide opportunities and provide them at a cost that's affordable to families. And so you've mentioned Driveline a few times. Driveline's, a premier, training and development program in Seattle. I know they've got Arizona, probably some other places as well too. Very well respected, get results, do amazing things. We actually have a new pitching, coach that's joined our HumNow staff. It was a Dodgers organization for 5 years, Driveline guy, part of the Driveline family, and so it's really, really exciting to me that we're having the opportunity now to bring people who have been through the Driveline programs and family, and then bring it back to Spokane and literally do it at a cost that's a fraction of the cost. And so I'm excited for our members, excited for the kids coming to camp that they don't have to. It costs money to travel to go do those. It's not cheap in any way, shape, or form, but to be able to get to experience a little bit of the Driveline mentality through these camps is I think going to be a really cool experience for people. So I wanted to mention that because it makes me excited that you're learning from the very best and now getting to bring it back home to kids and do it in an affordable way as well too. So that's super awesome. So let's now that we're on that topic, let's talk just a little bit about the camp this weekend. And there's a couple opportunities going on. We've got younger kids, we've got older kids, and then we've got some one-on-one sessions available also. So let's talk with those younger kids first. It's 8 to 13-year-olds. Really, what is your plan or what's your focus? And if there were one thing you want these young kids to take away from that camp or 18 to 13-year-olds, what would be your focus and goal for them walking away from camp this weekend?
I think the best thing you can learn is just the skill aspect of the game, whether you're big or tall. Like, you can still compete against the people around you. You don't have to be the biggest guy, because a lot of the time in those younger leagues, it's usually the biggest guy that ends up being the most successful at that time. But it's not about how well you play at 8 to 13. It's about how well you play at in professional baseball, or how well you play at the major league level. So it's just learning the skills that'll get you to the spot that you want to be in the long term. So it's kind of looking at the long term, especially at a young age. Like, if you're able to look at that and kind of be like, okay, I know I need to build these skills now and like really make them like part of my game, and understand how you can do that, that will help you be successful in the long term and maybe get you that opportunity to go play Division 1 baseball, especially being in a smaller market like Spokane. You don't see a lot of kids going out of Spokane going Division 1 baseball. It really doesn't happen much out of there. It's a lack of people coming to watch there. So it's like, how can you separate yourself against the kids on the other side of the state in Seattle area that maybe get those more opportunities and more are seen by other people. So it's like learning the skills that'll help you compete against those guys, even, or like the guys from California or Texas that'll get you those opportunities to go play at the level that you want to play at.
That's awesome. You make a point there that I think is really important for parents to hear. And I'm going to ask you this question. At any point in your recruiting process, transfer portal, when you're going through the combine draft, did anybody ever ask you about, from the ages of 8 to 13, a tournament that you won or that you played in at that age? Did anybody ever bring any of that up?
No, you never hear about it. I think the biggest thing is, I mean, I grew up doing a lot of like skill based work, like through Premier Mitts, and like just learning about hitting and understanding hitting as best I could to put myself in a position that I could be successful, because I knew where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
So it was like building the skills at such a young age and not worrying about what your batting average is in 9U baseball or something like that. It's just going out and having fun, then learning how to play the game the right way. I mean, the biggest thing that people can do, especially in professional baseball, you see it a lot of the times where it's like the guys that are successful are the ones that play the game the right way. But you have
Yeah.
to start learning how to play the game the right way at a younger age. It's not something that you just learn like in a day or something like that. It's something that's built over time, and like understanding yourself and understanding the game and how to play it the right way, what that even means, and then just going through those opportunities and learning from people. Even like the best thing I could do was learning from different coaches around Spokane, even
Yeah.
on different things about hitting or different things about defense. I mean, Kenny Elmas out in Spokane, I've gone to him since I was 7 years old. That's the prime age that I'm talking about, of 8 to 10, 8 to 13. Been to him. I go back to him every time I'm in Spokane. It's just learning about things from other people that know the game more than you.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's super awesome. So let's get to our older kids then. So 8 to 13-year-olds, really learning the right way to work, the mental mindset, zero in on the mechanics. Now our 14 up, our high school kids, that if they're going to continue to play, they're starting to look at needing to take it even more serious. So what do you want to really emphasize for those older kids? What do you think their takeaway from this camp will be after getting to spend a few hours with you?
Yeah, just I mean, again, the skill aspect of it's very important, but it's more about applying it at that age, of like understanding how you can apply those skills to your game and how you can actually make an impact when you're playing every single day, instead of just going out and just playing and having absolutely no idea what you're doing out there and hoping you find success. It's like understanding how you're going to have that success as you grow older, and like how you can apply what you already have as a skill, where you can improve, and then how you can apply that to the actual game in order to have success going into more of like as you get closer to college, as you get into high school, and what high schools might want to see as a player. Like I went through it as freshman all the way through high school. Like, okay, I'm on varsity. Like this is what the coaches need from me. Like freshman year, I had to learn how to bunt a lot. I led the league in sacrifice bunts because that's what I needed to do at the time. So it's just learning how to help the team win and like how to you can apply it to each and every game.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's super awesome. Well, I know that like I said, we are super excited about you being out there. We also have one other opportunity for people, and that's that they can book you and secure you for a one-on-one session too. And the camps are fantastic. If someone were to ask me, I'm going to say do the camp and then do a one-on-one. And the reason for that is that if you're serious about the game of baseball and you want to grow, you've got to do exactly what you said. Surround yourself with people who know something that you don't know. And so to have an opportunity to do that for, I can't remember, 2.5, 3 hour sessions, I think, to be able to do that and then still get an additional hour to work one on one, that allows somebody for a very affordable price to get some significant time with you and learning the camp things and then carry that on and be able to really break that down at an individual level. And the one-on-ones are so awesome because kids can spend time getting to know you too, and there's a lot of value in doing that. So if you're a parent that is saying, well, what should I do? Do both, quite honestly, is what I think you should do if you want to get the most out of it, for your athlete. So Elijah, I just want to thank you for being here. Like I said, this is a special opportunity. This is something new and different that when you were coming and going to do this, I wanted to make sure we made sure that number one, people knew who Elijah Hainline was, and then number two, the value of the offering that we were going to get. And I think it's important for people to understand that these are unique opportunities. They're special opportunities. While Spokane was your home that you grew up with, and you're not home in Spokane during this off season. You're down in Arizona training, and so for you to be home for one weekend and literally every waking minute that you're not going to be in a wedding that you're participating in, you're opening your schedule to be out at HumNow to give back to kids in our area. And we can, I think, all agree that our area needs to be better in our development cycle for what we do for our athletes. And so this is a big part of doing it. So thank you for that. Thank you for giving back. We're super excited to see you this weekend. I know the kids are. Um, any final closing things that you want to add before I kind of wrap it up, where people can, I'll point out to where they know that they can go to make sure they get signed up.
Just a little fun thing is we're bringing out some memorabilia and gear and stuff, so you can get some signed cleats or something, or a signed card or something like that. Just gonna have some fun with it from old gear that I have that might as well let some kids have that if they wanna have some fun stuff in their house. Why not come out and get like a broken bat or a pair of cleats or something?
That's super awesome. And I tell people to get it now because based off your numbers and trajectory, Elijah's not going to be in the minors for too long. So it'd be super cool to get something from early on. So I'll say we're proud of you. We're excited for what's to come. And one final thing that I want to share too with people that sets you apart, Elijah, and I don't think a lot of people understand this, that the behind the scenes work ethic that you put together. And even when we were building Hum Now and we literally didn't have turf down or had anything, if there was an opportunity for you to go put work in somewhere, you were doing it. And you were serious about it. It was not a mess around fest. It was getting after it. And I'll never forget, I was talking to you about some of the technology that we had on our weight equipment, and which was about velocity based training. And you said, yeah, that's great. And it works for some guys, but unless I lift and unless it hurts afterwards, I don't think I'm gaining anything out of it. And I'll never forget that. And I knew in that moment that you will do great things because it doesn't matter your size, it doesn't matter your height. You're going to get everything out of your body, literally to the point of that by making it hurt, it's going to allow you to grow, get stronger, and do great things. So that mentality really resonated with me, and I think is a special thing for our kids to get to be around and learn that philosophy. So thank you for being you. Thanks for being on. We're excited to see where you go. We're going to have huge Elijah Hainline fans running around here. You already do, but even more so. So
Thanks.
so thank you again. And then for anyone who's watching this, and again, this is going to be sitting on our website. We're going to put it out on social media. which probably drove you to here. But down below this video is where you can sign up for camp. You can call us, you can message us. Also, the one-on-one spots are filling up quickly, so make sure you get to us as soon as you can. And we'll make sure that we get you all set up, and can't wait to see all of you out at camp, and can't wait to see you, Elijah. So thank you, and we'll talk to you all soon.
Thank you, Chris.